want a ticket straight to them pearly gates.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am short on time and I need to make this video fast so I could get to the live stream. So we're going to dive right into what Harada is talking about on Twitter. The first tweet here is where someone is asking him which characters will never return. And Harada says, me. This is once again Harada talking about how he wants to retire. And it's kind of sad because he seems like he can't wait for that day. It seems like he's looking at the finish line and it's like, get me out of here. These Tekken players are getting so unruly, getting so reckless, and I can't wait to be done with it. But also thinking about it like this, right? Let's not view it from that perspective. View it from the perspective of this guy has been doing this for like 30 plus years, right? 30 plus years of his life dedicated to Tekken, and he made it into like a very, very successful franchise, breaking records, record tournaments. A whole new generation of players is picking up the game. He has Guinness World Records. He's done so much to this game, and the only thing he really could do now is like prepare the next generation of developers to carry the torch. He said that Tekken 9 will be his last Tekken. People were looking at this tweet thinking like, is he saying Tekken 8 is going to be his last Tekken? We don't know if he's, moving the schedule forward a little bit. All we can go off of is what he said previously, that he wants Tekken 9 to release with the PlayStation 6, and then that will be his final game. And also keep in mind, Michael Murray will, he said that he will be leaving with Harada too. So both of those guys will step out, and they'll give the reins over to who I believe to be Nikatsu. Now, one thing that Harada was talking about as well, and I think this is very important, is adding more accessories. In Tekken 8, I believe you can only do 2, right? This person says, yo, Harada, make 6 accessory slots instead of 2. It's a lot of creative potential being held back. Now, I know that some people said that the reason why they probably don't have more than 2 is because it would probably cause lag or something like that. And that sounds right. It sounds like it makes sense, right? 2 accessories versus 6 accessories, that's more processing power. You got to take into consideration combos and interactions, heat, right? So it would make sense. But regardless of what the reason they aren't doing it or they haven't done it, Harada said, got a few similar requests, so I'll consider it. And that's cool, right? Even if they can't do 6, if they could just do 4, if they could just do 3, if they could just do a little bit more, it would be so great, because there's been many times where I wanted to put 2 claws on the hands, but then also do a horn, right? So this would just give players more ability to customize and individualize their character. Now, on the topic of character requests, Harada received a type of concept. Someone says, I ask, have you and your team considered a female character that has drunken fists? Now, this is just a wild theory that I think we were talking about on stream, and we don't know if this will be true, but a lot of people are wondering if Marizu, since she has multiple different type of animal fighting styles, will she be a replacement for Lee? Because, Lee is kind of like the drunk fighting character. He has the Chinese-based martial arts, which is why he goes into all of these different animal stances. But I mean, when we think about the character Marizu, so she has African fighting styles, right? We know at least 2. Then she has some connections to ogre, so that adds a spiritual element to it. But then she also fights like animals. The only way that all of that stuff can exist in the same character is if it's different stances. And then in Heat, you get like some ogre enhancements. Going down that route, it could see like a replacement for Lee or just really similar to Lee. When I pitched that idea, some people loved it, some people hate it. We'll see what the developers decide to do. But in response to this tweet, Harada says, it was on the list of my ideas. However, given the background at the time, as the game intended for arcades, there was an aspect that alcohol couldn't be really pushed to the forefront or expressed openly. And this is the thing about creating games for arcades versus creating games online. Now, really, like, so many online games are way more loose with their guidelines. We know that Harada wasn't able to put Zoe in Tekken 6 because the age rating would have been too crazy. But now you look at a game like Stellar Blade, and you know that you can definitely get crazy with it if they really wanted to. Someone says, bring back Katarina, but make her a drunkard. Harada laughs at this idea, but I just want to highlight it because at least he's acknowledging the character Katarina and people wanting her to show up. I know a lot of people want her to make a return, and who knows if she will, right? This roster is going to be very cutthroat, and not every character can make it. Now, when you talk about the update, I won't make this too repetitive, but I seen that a lot of people were upset at Harada for ignoring balance and only focusing on the gooning. You know, this update was deemed as a titty update because that's all that really was changed. People has been requesting change for like 5 months and it hasn't happened. Someone said a patch for tits. Are you a joke? Harada said, can you read this? Someone else says anything but fixing your trash rock paper scissors game. Harada says, if it's really the case, it wouldn't be surprising if you made top 8 at EVO or EWC. You should enter a rock paper scissors tournament instead. Fix your lifestyle. Now, there is some truth to this, but obviously it's not the whole truth. We know at a competitive level, this game has like the ability to play defense because they have so much knowledge. They know how to play like perfect defense. So they're going to exploit a lot of these strings, a lot of these stances. They're going to move around. But when you talk about on a casual level where the developers know players don't have perfect defense and perfect timing and perfect punishing, yeah, it does come down to guessing a lot of times and also fighting based off of what happened in the past. In the past, Heihachi did a high guard break, so now I'm going to crouch. Oh, he did the mid, now I'm dead. And then finally, someone says, you're telling me you closed the game for 3 hours to fix some tits. Harada says, are you not reading this at all? Are you okay? Now, it is interesting that Harada is saying, like, you know, check out this update, but we still feel like the update isn't doing enough. I don't know specifically how many things was on there, but maybe like 10, 20. Maybe that does take a lot of time for them to, you know, put this stuff out there, put time and effort into researching it. But I mean, like, players just want like real change. And what I know they can't fix everything at once, but we're 5 months later, and I just would hope that the developers can attack one of these strong moves, right? The Flash, Anna's Rocket, one of these moves that every character, every player is ranting about. Attack that move so you can show the players that you care about balance. People want to see the developers, you know, live up to their apologies, their promises, right? And they haven't done that even at the start of season 2, even now. But switching topics, Harada responds to someone who says, man, you should really bring back this Lily outfit. Now, I know that this Lily outfit was modded very early into Tekken 8's lifespan. A lot of people were also saying to add mod support because a lot of these things that the developers can't do because of time, resources, or whatever, you know, staffing, the modders are doing, and people would love to have access to that, especially console players, right? PC players can download mods, but the console players can't really interact with it. And if Tekken 8 allowed mod support, it would be right there, right? But Harada says this costume wasn't popular at first, but later it started to get a lot of requests. Not only the fact that Harada can see which outfits are popular and which outfits are not popular, but also how you can see the rise in popularity. You know, this speaks to how time changes and things grow. You know what I would wonder? I would wonder why it takes them so long to add skins. Like, in this recent update, they only added Devil Jin skin. Why didn't they add more? Why didn't they add at least 3? You know, why is it only 1 at a time? But he also responds to someone who's requesting these 2 outfits from Anna. Harada says Anna's phone feels outdated. So even though he's not saying like, yes, we're going to do this, just the simple fact that he is acknowledging it is great. You have this tweet here where someone says, at least we got you in Soul Calibur. Harada says, I didn't even know it was there until beta ROM debugging, but Guinness staff told me it's a world record. First producer featuring as a named character in a fighting game. And then the last tweet here, someone says, could you please bring back this outfit for Lydia? Harada says, love this costume. I would love to see the developers add a lot of these great costumes back to the game, but I also would like them to do it in a way to where it's not nickel and diming the players every step along the way. Give us a nice big chunk of customizations that we all can interact with. You know, I was talking about this on stream, right? Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is famous for having a endless pool of items. Tekken 7 had a endless pool of character specific items. Tekken 8 doesn't really have both, and it's only charging the players every step of the way. It's doing it at a very, very slow pace. So I wish they would step it up in both aspects.